to the last story of the day. Spider-Man 2, y'all. Insomniac has said, hey, we're calling time. We're calling time. And not only that, we're calling it out. Spider-Man 2 is releasing on PC next January, on January 30th, 2025. It is coming, and with that, there are no additional story content plans for Marvel Spider-Man 2. They're going to bring new game plus in, new suits, color variants, photo mode, and all that stuff with the PC version. Post-launch content is going to be there, but no story updates, no new expansions, none of that stuff. It's done. It's done after the PC release. There's no new content coming to Spider-Man 2. When? How do you feel?
I'm not gonna lie to you, and I don't really, with certain games, I don't really care too much about like DLC. Like I went back to play Spider-Man's DLC, and I think it was good. But when I went back and played it, like I had all of it had been out for a while. Like it had been out for a minute. So what I will say is that like I do think that it is good. Like I like the DLC, but what I will say is that I'm not super pressed about it not being there because there's so much content in Spider-Man 2. And I know that a lot of people are going to be like upset about not having more. But honestly, like, I think that game was really, really good. It was done really well. And I don't really know if it necessarily needed more. Like, I'm sad that it's not getting more shit, but at the same time, if you're telling me that more shit's gonna be in the next Spider-Man game, like if I get the same amount of shit in this Spider-Man game in the next one, I'm gonna be really happy. Like I think I'm gonna be excited. Spider-Man 2, amazing game, really, really fun, but lack of DLC is sad. But at the same time, like there's just so much, like there's so much in that game. And I'm kind of good with starting up a new adventure. I'm okay with playing something else. If this means Wolverine comes out faster, I'm okay with this. If this means like I'm gonna be able to play a new Spider-Man game sooner, I'm okay with that. I just don't want like random ass, because I played all of the old DLC, and none of it right now really is coming out to me. Like I can't remember any of it that well. Like I remember Hammerhead got a fucking big ass tech suit, and that shit was cool, I guess. But like, the moments I remember aren't from that. The moments I remember are from the base game. So I'm not really too upset.
I will say this. There is a small part of me that is upset or sad because like, damn, I would have loved to see if we had any updates with the Carnage storyline that was a part of Spider-Man 2, because I know literally we left that on a cliffhanger with the side missions of the fire that burns or whatever, the fire clan, the fire gang that was there, which ended up being Cleus Cassidy and and Carnage. So I would have loved to see if that gone somewhere, because that was a plot point that was kind of left loose. I think there was one other major one that I forgot that was left loose in the game. I would have loved to see in some DLC or something talking about that or whatever, but there was one point I knew whatever that they do with this game is justified, and it's the people's fault, not the company and not whatever. It's gamers' fault, and specifically it's leakers' fault. The major leak that happened with Insomniac, that is a direct cause of this, in my opinion. That is like the majority of the that's the majority of the cause of it. If you really want to look closely, if you have your entire roadmap fucking dropped, Spider-Man DLC, all the Wolverine stuff, all the, again, whatever's next in line. I don't even want to say all the things that were out there and stuff like that in that alleged roadmap. That's gonna take a lot of toll on what you put out and what you do. You got to re-examine and batten down the hatches with all the security stuff. And now you got to kind of like, if I'm Insomniac, I don't want to follow that same schedule exactly. And now I got to change some shit up. Yeah. Now I got to make sure I'm not being either too predictable or whatever, because maybe that could affect sales. Maybe that could affect the rollout that we're trying to do. That might affect things that we're trying to put together. So the fact that these leaks came out and they ruined so much of what Insomniac was planning to cook with potential DLC or whatever, they had to spend so much time repatching up that stuff and then figuring out where they go next with the other projects, that they're like, you know what? Fuck Spider-Man 2. We'll just leave it alone for them. It's kind of sad, but if people were looking forward to DLC, I'm sorry. Blame the people who, but blame most people. If you want to put it somewhere, blame most people who leaked the game. Blame most people who leaked the roadmap. Do that first, because that was a bigger issue that I think contributed to them having to reshuffle everything, and that took away from potential development of the, again, Spider-Man 2 DLCs or whatever. Silver lining, I would say, whatever was left over from Spider-Man 2 will most certainly go into the development and fleshing out in Spider-Man 3, in my opinion. I think overall, we know that Spider-Man 2 was a really, really great game. I think it did suffer from being undercooked a little bit in some areas. It could have used some fleshing out in terms of the story, maybe a couple other things to do in activities, but it overall was really a great game. I remember we talked about like some missing features, like there was like a lot of destructibility that was shown in certain like builds and prototypes that didn't make it into the final game. The stealth options, which I was a big voice for, just like, yo, we just didn't have any stealth options as much as the first, and I didn't like that. Maybe that kind of adjustment, maybe that's, again, I think that was a choice of just the developers, but I really would have liked a better balance to have a bit more stealth stuff in there and not just the same blank zip line or whatever, and that's it. And the tools that you have at your disposal. But I think the silver lining will be the fact that they can top load Spider-Man 3 to be really, really good in the light of, you know, people's reception of Spider-Man 2, and in the light of the leaks. They can kind of take a bit more of a further step back and maybe change some things, maybe subvert the expectations people might have had from the roadmap that some people had their eyes on and some people saw, so they can kind of, you know, redo other things. I really do believe we're still going to see Wolverine this year. Not the game itself, but I mean like a trailer or something. I feel like that might release either 2025 or 2026, and things might be delayed like a year from there. I'm really excited to see what Wolverine has in store, but in terms of the next Spider-Man and Spider-Man being, you know, kind of discontinued in terms of story content for the second one, cool, so be it. I'm not even mad at it, man. They can leave it where it lies and just put all their efforts toward the next projects, and then when Spider-Man 3 comes out, just make that the most smash out thing that you can possibly do. Put every ounce of effort, put all the leftover stuff from 2, put everything that you couldn't do into 3, and we'll all be in good standing. So I'm not mad at them in one bit, man. Insomniac, take your time. You've earned it.
Yeah, like I do think the leakers definitely played a huge part in this, and it sucks because it's like, we're not saying that the motherfucker, it's the gamers' faults, but like,
no,
understand it's definitely the leakers, and when it's like, if you're engaging with the shit, if you're reposting it, if you're sharing it with people, like that shit, it helps the people who are leaking continue to do their job. And it's the shit that will make it really hard for a developer to be like, yo, yeah, let's keep going with the same plan now that everybody knows all the cool surprises and the cool things. Like, yeah, man, I agree with you. Like, why would I keep the same plan if everybody knows what's gonna happen? Like, you guys are just gonna call it mid or the same old because you guys saw it like 3 months ago. Like, it's leaker culture. And honestly, like, the only people who can really put a stop to it are the people who engage with it, which is us.
Yep.
You know, like, don't retweet it, don't talk about it, don't do nothing. If you want to talk about it, get in a Discord, you know, get in a private Discord at that. Like, make sure nobody's seeing that like this is a topic of conversation and nobody's gonna care, and people are just gonna move on. You know, make them look kind of crazy. But like, honestly, it's sad, but man, if I was Insomniac, my ass would have I wouldn't be saying shit to nobody. Like, y'all just wouldn't have gotten shit for a while. Like, it is what it is.
Yep. Oh, just stop right there. And I know it's not the easiest thing because we all want the next piece of information and stuff. But we all have to make a conscious effort to like not talk about it. You see how, like, again, this podcast, we could have easily just talked about all the Nintendo shit that happened, but I don't want to talk about that shit. I don't want to bring any extra attention and broadcast it to more people that, hey, these leaks are happening, this thing is happening, blah blah blah. Whatever, it'd be cool to get a scoop, but that's not what we in it for, bro. We want to talk about games in the way that they're presented to us, in the right channels and proper ways. Listen, in the grand scheme of leaks in every industry and every like form of life in the world, again, they have their place. Again, shameless plug, I did a whole video on this shit. You know what I'm saying? I hate leaker culture in games. I understand some of it does have its place in the world, but in terms of gaming, like, you're just killing it for everybody, bro. You're killing it for the people who are making the game. You're killing it for potential sales expectations of how people might get paid. Like, you're killing it for the people who are looking forward to it as consumers. Like, bro, just chill out, bro. Just take a step back from it. That's all you need to do. You ain't gotta go crazy, bro.
And I know, like, a lot of people are like, well, what's the big deal? The thing is, like, if you've ever created something and put a lot of time and effort into something, and some random person did it for free for no reason other than just they wanted to be able to say it before you did, you really wouldn't be happy with that shit neither. Like you wouldn't putting that amount of effort, like years and years of work into something for just a random Twitter person to get like maybe $200 from Elon for 1 month of good engagement. Like, I'm good, man. Motherfuckers really like, again, it's fucking heinous work. And if they were to be like, we're not making no more games anymore or some shit like that, I couldn't even be mad at them.
I get it, bro. When you're creating something, it's a different type of care and like awareness for it. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure it's presented in the best way, how you want to present it. You know what I mean? You don't want it to be brought to people before it's time. And that's what leaking it does. And so that's what's put Insomniac on such a different path. And again, what I personally think contributed to this, like them just stopping anything about Spider-Man 2 and just kind of focusing on reshuffling the deck for whatever they got coming in the future. So, you know, again, I'll say it twice. Insomniac, they earned the right to do whatever the hell they want to do with the games they're gonna make. So they got nothing but time from our side.